Good morning and Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here with you. And of course, it's terrific to share the stage again with Director General Valovaya. We were together in 2020 at the last physical gathering of FerMUN. And of course, to be here with the FerMUN team, with the Secretary General, Julian Zeeb, with my colleague and friend Florence Baudret, the head of the inspiring program that is FerMUN. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for that unexpected, I would say, and very, very warm welcome. And of course, thanks to all of you for the amazing things that you do. Thanks to the students present, to the students that have participated previously, that have gathered from all over the world, as we have heard, because you believe that the best way to solve the biggest issues that are facing our world is by working together, by respecting and by reconciling different points of view. I believe that too. It's at the bedrock of the ITU, and everything that we do to bring digital technologies to people everywhere. And that's been the driving force behind my more than 30-year career. So today I'm thrilled that one of my first events after having taken my position on the 1st of January, and it still feels a little bit funny when people call me Secretary General, but it's so exciting, and I'm really happy that as one of my first events, public events as Secretary General, that I can be here with you, with young people. As it happens, as I mentioned, the last time I was with this group was back in January 2020. It was one of my last public events before things started to lock down due to the pandemic. And as you just saw in that terrific video, we had the great pleasure of working with FerMUN and hosting the Global Young Visionary Summit that we called the Future Casters. And it's hard to believe that it was almost 3 years ago to the date. And I think that makes today even more special because it reminds us that you've been through a lot. You've seen a lot of things in your young lives. When most of you were born, I think we knew that the planet was getting warmer, but a few of us worried that it might become uninhabitable in our lifetime. I do want to commend FerMUN for focusing this year's conference on climate change. Many of the questions that you're going to be taking up in your committees and your deliberations, from early warning systems for extreme weather events, to weather data collection, to making data centers and digital technologies more sustainable, are also at the heart of ITU activities and programs. Let me perhaps ask you all a question. How many of you received a new digital device over the holidays? Raise your hand. Anybody? I did. Okay, a few. Okay, so those of you that did receive a digital device, how many of you actually recycled your old device? Show of hands. Okay, a few. Fewer. I think it's really important, and I hope you take this up in your deliberations, to think about that massive amount of e-waste that's being generated. This is something that ITU tackles head on, but we need to do more because actually only 20% of countries are actually recycling or managing their e-waste. And so that's an issue of growing concern. When most of you were born, 1 billion people were online. And today that number is more than 5 times higher. And it's actually your age group that's the driving force for connectivity. 75% of young people between the ages of 15 and 25 are online. But here's another truth. Not all young people have the same digital opportunities or digital skills, depending upon where they live, their income, or their gender. When most of you were born, AI technologies, autonomous driving, quantum computing, low Earth orbiting satellite systems, and other breakthrough technologies were a distant reality. But look at where we are now, and think about where we're going to be in 4 years. Look at the possibilities that we're seeing now with ChatGPT. I was playing with it last night. I won't get into it, but clearly that's going to change the way that you as students do your work. It's a little challenging for teachers, as some of you know in the room. It's also going to change the way that you're being tested. And of course, it's also stirring the debate around AI technologies today. But we can't and we shouldn't stop you from using these tools in the same way that my parents back in the day couldn't stop my siblings and I from watching cable TV. And of course, the way my own children outsmarted us when we tried to curb their smartphone use. Instead, we need to work with you. We need to work with you to protect young people's rights online and to better understand how you are using digital tools and online spaces, and how, in the words of the UNSG's not tech envoy, but the youth envoy, although I'm sure the tech envoy would agree, we need to make these spaces more accessible, and we need to make them more democratic for young people. You see the need for change in ways that we didn't necessarily see when you were born. And you don't shy away from engaging, you jump in. I saw this firsthand some months ago when the ITU held our Generation Connect Global Youth Summit just prior to a major UN conference on digital development. We have seen it time and time again in other ITU events where we have started to include the voices of young people. And that really, I would say, makes me hopeful. As the DG mentioned, we face many challenges, lots of conflicts, but the youth engagement, your participation, your insights make me very, very hopeful. And as we mark the midpoint to the UN Agenda 2030, to that milestone to achieve those 17 SDGs, we need to see the world through your eyes. We need to see the world through the eyes of the young people here in this room and beyond. I hope you will join us in our ITU Generation Connect community. I hope you will work with us to ensure that digital technologies are sustainable and that digital technologies can reach and be felt by every young person everywhere. I'm pleased to announce that the ITU will soon be launching for the first time, perhaps long overdue, a Young Professionals program. Keep your eyes on that. I'm very excited about that, and I hope that it makes a difference in the way that we do our work and, of course, in the ITU workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for the warm welcome. Secretary General, I wish you well in your deliberations. And again, thank you for what you do. Thank you for your outstanding work. Don't give up. And as the SG was saying, I mean, it can be the smallest thing. It can be one simple idea, and that can change the world. Thank you.